we had some issues there with that. Okay, so yeah. Oh, this kind of scary. Let's just look, see if we find Lillie. There we go. Alright, so basically what was the situation here is that the I don't need to bench him, I shouldn't. So yeah, we just do that. Right, so you have on your reversal so that you can swing back hard and knock out, you know, stuff of that nature. But yeah, sorry, body camera situation is just freezing, so probably looking to go fix it afterwards. So yeah, the matchup basically between both of us is that he should have a decent matchup, but according to how the Dragapult player plays, it could be beneficial. It could work out in Dragapult's favor, depending, you know, but it's a real 50-50 matchup. But yeah, so far as you can see, you know, the start of the game kind of slow. Forcing me to bench Latias. Because I need to evolve this turn, because if I knock out that, I would be in problem. If I knock out the Budew, he just would come up with the Manatan with the reversal energy and hit Flame Body Cannon to knock out both parties. So I need to find Dragapult. I'll have to bench this. We push the Jamming Tower. Let me get Iono. We'll be going back into the item log, but I need to find Dragapult this too. There we go, finding Dragapult. Amazing. Evolve that and we retreat into the Budew. Now bear in mind, he's still going to be getting 2 prizes regardless. 2 prizes being either Budew Duskull or Budew most likely he'll go Budew Drakloak, which is, like, you know, the most optimal play, I would suppose, you know, get rid of my draw engine. But I was forced to evolve this, remove the draw engine because of this sniping potential, which is extremely scary at this juncture. So that being explained, alright, finding the Cyrano. He is item locked, but Cyrano allows you to find EXs straight out your deck without having to use any items, so it's pretty good. But at the way how the board state is right now, it is somewhat in my favor, and he's going to go up without item lock, so I'll have access to counter catcher, which will allow me to be a little more flexible in the game state, provided that he's unable to find Cider. I could make it real problematic for him. Yeah, I could make it very problematic for him. If he can't find side up this turn, I'll be able to remove both Darmanitan and the Munkidori, which will remove all his attackers, so he'll have to bench Reshiram. Because if I see him bench Darumaka, I'll just get rid of it. So yeah, he'll have to bench Reshiram, which will give him a limited attacking pool, you know. So as expected, you know, Budew and Drakloak should be knocked out at this point. Oh, thinking about it, he probably realizing he doesn't have access to Cider, so you want to change the attack to probably take out the Duskull, because you know that could be problems. But he does lock into the Drakloak. Alright, so taking off my draw power. Always remember, anytime you're in between turns, once you have a Pokemon that have free retreat, always promote the float, because you never know what could happen in between, you know. Sometimes you might whiff, might engage, so it's good to always have access to your stuff. So we'll bench your fence to draw, and then we'll put this guy here, Dreeps. Right, and at this point we want to guarantee it, so we would want to play Dawn, right? But his hand size is pretty massive. Now looking at the current discard, I have no Ultra Balls in here, so that means I have 4 in deck. I have access to draw 5 plus 3, so I see in 8 cards this turn. 8 cards should be enough, because I need to disrupt his hand. His hand pretty big, you know. So I should be able to find Energy and Duskull, right? So we'll go for the Iono. Be a shame if it was Candy there. there was candy there. Yeah. Alright, so we do find what we were looking for. Let's draw 3, you know. Alright, we find more dead cards that we could use. Around this juncture, you don't really want to use the Lilies because you wouldn't have access to it in the long run. Nice, nice, okay. Like, you wouldn't get much value from it, or you wouldn't get as much value from it, you know what I mean? So we'll Night Stretcher to grab back the energy. We'll attach for 2. No, we'll retreat into Dragapult. We'll then use Dusclops to put 5 on the Munkidori, giving him a prize. And now this is beneficial for us because he now has to take 2 more knockouts. Well, he still had to take 2 knockouts on 2 prizes, but Dragapult is a thick boy, so he would be a little. It'll take a little more out of him to get that knockout on the Dragapult. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 5 is 11. That's 2 prizes right there. Going down to 3, we're on equal prices, so he doesn't have access to counter catcher. So if he wants to get to my bench, he now has to boss, and if not boss, he will then have to punch active. And with the punch on active, I should have a bit more resources, meaning, like, you know, probably I could find a Luminous Energy to attach the Munkidori to then move over some damage and slowly chip away at him until I could use my Phantom Dive for massive damage. Or I could simply punch for the Phantom Dive damage, and then we could Hawlucha, Turo Hawlucha, you know, that's a dream of a play. But yeah, so currently looking at the board today, he's just trying to find energy Reshiram. That's about it. Does he bench Fez? He does not bench Fez. So yeah, Reshiram, the attacker, attach for turn. You're gonna punch 170. I'll try to find an energy so I could then attach to my Munkidori so I can move the damage also. He'll be forced to punch again unless he can find his energy. His Munkidori with dark energy, you know? So yeah. That's kind of like the juncture we are. 2 Lilies, 2 Iono. Okay, so always pay attention to your resources. You know, you use 2 Lilies, 2 Iono so far. So you know you have 2 more Lilies, you have 2 more Iono as draw supporters. You have this in the discard pile in case you want to use a little Night Stretcher action. The only downside is that I didn't want to use Ultra Ball to get back the Dusk, or to set up another Duskull in the moment due to just, you know, the current situation, I guess. I just didn't want to do that per se. Now from this point I could just, I probably wouldn't be using Brock this turn, so we could discard those 2. We have access to Bloodmoon, right? We also have access to Hawlucha. We could put down the Dusclops, but then we would be going down prizes during that turn, so we could probably start to set up the Bloodmoon. Alright. You could bench that Bloodmoon. The hand size kind of small. Do we find Luminous? We do not find Luminous. We take the Ultra Ball, I suppose. Unfortunate that we didn't find that. We would know. I guess we both take out this guy and we set up the board. How much is it? 240. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's pretty whole 6 here. Yeah. Right, so even though we go down, right, and he has access to counter catcher now, if he doesn't knock out Dragapult, is basically game. What is it? Provided I find the energy. If I don't find the energy, then that's kind of cursed, because there's only 1 I have attached and I haven't used another one, so it should have 2 more in the deck presently, you know. So yeah, alright, so he attaches to the bench. He'll have to use his 2 trades to see what he could find. Probably trying to find a Petrant maybe to get that out of the active, or maybe he just want to sit in the active with that. He finds his other Reshiram. Wow, pretty insane. Into the Iono to 2, he gets Iono to 3. Still have access to trade. With the knockout, I would have I'd have the ability to see. Ooh, Ooh! You see, I did take this into consideration, hence not playing the second Jamming Tower, keeping it in the deck. And now that the cards that have gone to the bottom, what cards went to the bottom? Alright, so I shouldn't need to shuffle the deck at this point. Shouldn't need to. By just drawing out, I should be able to find, okay, boss is pretty good. I should be able to find Jamming Tower to bump the stadium. Neo Upper Hawlucha. We grab the Neo Upper just in case we need to punch. Fez for 3. Jamming. No Jamming Tower, unfortunately. Huh. No Jamming Tower. What can we do from this point? No energy and no Jamming Tower, which is tragic. We could Night Stretcher for anything. Nothing of importance right now. Would that be a sensible play though? You know what? We ball. We ball. We ball. This is a terrible play. Don't do this. Don't do this play. This play is bad. But we ball. You know the vibe. We ball. But do in the late game. Yeah. Okay, so that play, the only reason why I'm thinking that play makes sense because his hand seemed pretty dead. I don't have a way to Iono it. And he already used one air balloon for the game so far. Now, if I know any Zoraklis, they don't play a ton of air balloons because they use either Petrant or they use End's Castle. So they not having access to another form of retreat, they would need to find Turo, and Turo would be the out. So yeah, let's see what is the situation. If he finds Turo, is gay. Let's see if he finds Turo. Mr. Jamal, I know Turo is gay. Let's see. Not being able to use Pokegear is pretty unfortunate if he does have it in deck. But yeah, this is a terrible idea. I'm gonna lie, terrible. But if I was able to find that Jamming Tower, I would have had the. Now, him not slapping down Turo kind of says that he did not find it off the trade. He's going to Iono, which means we have another turn. Okay, Iono Lillie passes the turn. That's pretty great if I do say so myself. I don't have any draw on board. Don't have any draw on board. Now, I don't want to shuffle the deck because I know I'm supposed to get this card right here. Jamming Tower off the top 2. Iono style. Bow bow. That's what we talking about. And it's just like that. Wait, he not in the right spot. This is bad. Now, if I do knock out the active, so I was correct in sorting the deck, right? If I do knock out the active, he would need a form to recover it. Let's push the Jamming Tower, right? Now, he could potentially have Turo in hand, because I'm not sure if he did have Turo, and I own him closer to Turo. But I have to hope that off of the next card he draws, he doesn't get Super Rod and Artisan. How much Artisan he use? He used 1. So Rack usually plays like 2 and a Watchtower. Or if he once he doesn't have Boss, I'll take the chance, right? I'll take the chance and knock it out, right? I'll take the chance and knock it out. 1, 2, and just put the US here 4. So that we'll be able to knock out either of them. So the play right now is he don't have access to Counter Catcher. Well, he would not have access to Counter Catcher. So the play now is he needs Super Rod, Artisan, or Super Rod, Nest Ball or Night Stretcher, something of the sort, just to recover his attacker, because currently there are 2 Reshirems in the discard pile, and no same person playing more than 2 Reshiram in this deck. So he has to trade away the cards in hand to find Super Rod. Upon finding Super Rod, he would then be able to recover the Reshiram. And then, okay, so both trades use. So that means that he's recovering the Reshiram, or if he finds the Super Rod, he will be recovering the Reshiram, and he would then be in a prime position to win the match. Let's see what is the current situation. He does find the Super Rod. Does he have Nest Ball and Boss? Let's stay tuned to find out. Pretty intense. Let's see what happens here. Now, if he had the Super Rod before he did the second trade, he would have been in a much better position because he could have potentially draw into it with the trade of the second Zora. But because his draw is so minimal on board, he doesn't have a way to ensure energy on the following turn. So the most he can do is retreat the active, if I don't see a Nest Ball played on, into the second Zorak, and then I would just promote Bloodmoon Ursaluna and take KO, take game. But with the current board state, that is basically what you gotta do. You gotta make sure the hand's small, you gotta make sure they don't have the out, you gotta take the chance, you know. Bringing up the Budew just for 1 turn was enough to buy me the turn I needed in order to find my Jamming Tower, to set up the board better so that I would have a guaranteed victory regardless to what happened. So he retreats into this one because I have more life, but unfortunately he doesn't have an out. Please have another Zora. Sure. Night Joker, gonna use that scratch for 20. Pretty strong scratch right there, and that's why obviously you set up the damage with the 2 and 4. 2 and 4 equals just enough to hit 280 damage. GG's. Yeah. So the matchup isn't unwinnable. It's quite difficult, but it's not unwinnable. It's just you have a bunch of different lines that you had to play, a bunch of different lines you could potentially play, you know. So yeah, that's kind of like the situation. But hey, that little one vid right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry, the cam kind of died mid-sesh right there. I'll try to fix that for the next video. But hey, guys, do enjoy your time. Have a good day. Keep safe. Keep training, and you know, play some Pokemon. Peace. Little Jam.